Hello, I am Aviva Lee, reporting live in Jerusalem from room 552 for Israel 24/6 TV. Today is June the 20th, 2008, and in just a few hours, Shabbat will enter the sovereign state of Israel and its capital, the holiest city on earth. Welcome to this edition of More Than Commentary. Yesterday there was a very interesting live report on MSN concerning the arrest and pending indictment of two former Bear Stearn employees, Mr. Tannin and Mr. Cioffi. Both of these gentlemen will face felony charges associated with their personal conduct during the subprime crisis and the resulting financial ruin of thousands of their clients. For one, I was not surprised at the arrests. Surely we all knew that it would only be a matter of time before the Wall Street gamblers associated with this crisis took a hit. The surprising thing to me was the use of buzzwords by the journalist reporting the arrests, who in fact said that he knew Mr. Cioffi, and he went even further to offer his audience the opportunity to feel a bit remorseful over the arrests. May I point out just a few facts here and now? If a Wall Street professional takes advantage of clients, there should be an investigation and an arrest and an indictment if the evidence substantiates the commission of a crime. And in this case, it is a bit biased to say that the public is looking for a scapegoat, when in fact John Q. Public and Susie Q. Homemaker are the main victims in this financial meltdown. And I would go further to say that the American justice system would be extremely remiss in its duty to John Q. Public and Susie Q. Homemaker if there were no arrests. I might also give a tip to my fellow journalists who are seeking information concerning this story. Emails in this present age surely are submissible evidence, and MSN, please make careful note of this fact. More than a decade ago, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that emails are submissible as evidence in the litigation process. This was decided in a case against Bechtel International, filed by a former employee that sued Bechtel for age discrimination when he was passed over for promotion. The case went to the U.S. Supreme Court primarily because the plaintiff's case was supported by email. Furthermore, the investigators, I would conclude, also have much more supporting electronic evidence. I would conclude that they have or will listen to stock calls or read those transcripts done by Bear Stearn employees considered expert in their respective fields, as well as other financial experts from other brokerage banks who give expert evaluations in those calls, which are frequently advertised, announced, and heard over the internet. I am more than just a little certain that transcripts of those stock calls still exist, and other associated financial information specifically concerning the subprime crisis exists, and that if it has not been requested already, that it soon will be requested. The problem for the prosecution is not in proving their cases. The problem is in catching each and every Wall Street gambler which was associated directly with the crisis. The information, which would no doubt lead to more indictments and more plea bargains and more verdicts of guilty, is out there. The prosecutors just need a large enough team to find it all. And as far as the journalist insinuating yesterday that a measure of innocence should be expected since Governor Spitzer collected evidence but never filed an indictment in the matter, I am led to wonder exactly why Governor Spitzer's professional moorings would be used as a possible indication that the prosecutors were seeking scapegoat. After all, Governor Spitzer was involved in the Emperor's VIP club, and perhaps when he went after prostitution rings as Attorney General, just to digress, perhaps he was merely trying to limit the competition for high-end prostitution rings due to his own preferences or due to his own vested interests in, let's say, limiting the competition. Isn't that entirely possible? And dear listener, the last time I checked, even John Q. Public and even Susie Q. Homemaker had a right to seek redress in an American court of law. Crime on Wall Street has not decreased. It has just gone further underground due to technology. And the reason Wall Street executives make huge amounts of money is because the client blindly trusts the premise that the broker they are using is honest and dedicated to only what is true and right and good. And when any Wall Street gambler gambles with someone else's money, knowing that the deck is stacked against that client, then that Wall Street gambler deserves no less wrath of the criminal justice system than a felony bank robber. One of the most recent examples of the listening world being lulled to sleep about the serious nature of financial crimes is the case in France of the trader who stole 5 billion euros and in little time at all was released from jail to await trial. Yesterday's MSN front page coverage of the arrests underscores the reason for my distress about the listening world being lulled to sleep with slanted evaluations of pertinent news, anything from the war in Iraq to the present financial meltdown. I give my own personal hoorah to anyone, even those with whom I disagree, who have the courage, the stamina, the commitment, the backbone, and the consistency required to report the news to the listening world daily, weekly, via the internet. Please check back later today for remarks from Prime Minister Olmert concerning what he describes as calm in Gaza. That report was delayed because I am waiting on a comment from Officer Mickey Rosenfeld. And that concludes this edition of More Than Commentary. I am Aviva Lee, reporting live in Jerusalem from room 552 for Israel 24/6 TV. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.